But he's a special kind of dude, and I've learned a lot from him. And I guess because of his teaching, because of where he's been, I see things in a different light. And he's been one of the people who he's overly practical, but his practicality comes across as almost ingenious because it's just so simple. And one thing that he brought up, he's like, when it comes to being, black, we don't even he doesn't call himself African American because he doesn't know where his ancestors are from. He's like, so I can't call myself African. I don't know where my African ancestors are from. I'm just black. And so what he's taught me a lot of, especially when I'm going through this period of difficulty navigating my frustration. One thing he's been really harping upon for me was, that the people around me who don't understand, the white people who don't comprehend or don't see what happens, I can't be fist up fighting the power, because as Christ followers, it's our job to really bring people in and to be kind and courteous and to not push them away, but to really, I don't want to use like super evangelical, but like rebuke them in a way. And so he's been somewhere for me who's been there when I go and watch 12 Years a Slave, and I watch Amistad, and I watch a civil rights documentary, and I'm frustrated when the riots happen. I'm mad, and he's there, because of his unique world perspective. He's like, you gotta just to teach people. You gotta let them know. You gotta learn them. And he's like, and because of him, I can't ever look at it like, some of what happens is unfounded, especially when it like things like with the police is like, my dad was a criminal, so I can't. But the other part that on the flip side is when you see someone die, someone who's violating parole, or might have a dime bag on them, so they bop out and they get shot from behind. When you validate something like that because someone has a criminal past, it strikes an extra nerve for me, because like my dad is like my best friend. He's my mentor. He's someone I look up to. And so to imagine that if he was in a circumstance like we were getting grabbed up in the parking lot, for a circumstance like that to happen and for him to die and for that to hit social media, I know from seeing all these things, and I can just extrapolate the evidence that I've seen before me, that people would say this man was a criminal, so he just had it coming, and wouldn't ever know the person that he is today. It's just that bit of record, and he won't get it expunged because it's a part of him, and he doesn't want to ever just feel like he's fully forgiven such a thing. People don't work like that. He comes out of prison and is honoring God and loving his wife and raising a family, working hard. And he's a creative type. He works electric, and he does it like every day without complaint. And he could get shot, and people would validate such a thing because the man's got a past, or because he's an ex-convict. And to me, the kind of thing strikes an extra nerve because you see those kind of things happen. Like, you don't know this person, and the whole benefit of the doubt. Like, you don't give the dead person the benefit of the doubt. It's the person who still gets to survive. That's how life works, though. It's the victors write the history books. So whoever gets to walk away from that thing gets to tell you what happened. But there's a whole being that die, and for me to have the father that I have, and to think like, if that kind of thing happened, that would be the reaction. And so in some ways, though, I don't actively go pursue empathy from others in that way because he didn't raise me to be that way, and also just don't feel that way on my own terms. There is an emotional reaction to those kinds of things in a way that maybe is just personal to me, beyond just it's a person's life getting taken, but there's also another African American person's life getting taken. But it also is validated because this person might have committed crime, because some of the situations people are in, it's really difficult to do anything but. They don't know any different. My daddy wasn't told any different. He was congratulating me when I got my first job, because he said he would have never done anything like that when he was my age, and he never even thought about doing it, and he was so proud of me for doing it. That's the mentality of an actual human being. And so that just kind of adds some extra weight to when those things happen. Like, and that's not everybody's circumstance. It's a rare circumstance where their father comes home from prison. It's a rare circumstance from what I hear that me and my siblings would accept him again, so on and so forth. But he's just that ill of a dude, you can't not like him. So, but that just adds extra weight to it. because it's just another avenue that I think people who want to be insensitive use to validate horrible, horrible things. And it hurts me a little extra because of just how important he is to my life. And even in those circumstances, because of how he navigates them, it just gave me a lot to learn about people being endangering your life, and if you have the opportunity to stand up for yourself. And so I guess in some ways, in that same vein, things like this gave me an opportunity to at least verbally stand up for myself. I'm not overly vocal about my opinions most of the time. I have a lot of them, but I don't talk about them.